Hey everyone, this is Jake, aka Lunar Wolf, and today we're going to take a look at the new endgame update coming to New World. The PTR also has the winter event update, but I'm going to tackle that in another video, so let's jump into the rest of the update here. Watermarking. The unnecessary grind in the endgame to keep people playing and interested while they wait for new areas and content to be released. The system is a poorly implemented excuse for an endgame progression in order to hit max gear score, and Amazon Game Studios finally understands this with all of the feedback from the community here, and they've planned to change this in a multi-step approach of a rollout. The first major thing is that the overhaul of the system is going to now be called Expertise, and it's going to function effectively differently than watermarking. Now, the first listing of these changes really turned a lot of heads and made a ton of people quite angry, myself included. But after I kept looking at the changes and reading opposing opinions on the forums, I've actually come to really enjoy these changes. So let's take a look at how the new system is going to change the whole landscape of New World moving forward. Instead of the random nature of the high watermark system, the Expertise system will actually allow you to focus on specific armor slots or weapons that may be lagging behind your randomly obtained rolls with the introduction of a new material for crafting known as Gypsum. Now, while you still can get random drops, each armor slot and each weapon and accessory slot have a specific expertise level associated with it that you can track and see your overall gear score level for expected drops or crafts with Gypsum. On top of the random drops, you can obtain various types of Gypsum from various locations to guarantee a specific gear score boost. The various types of Gypsum may seem redundant at first, but allow for more than just running elite chests in Shattered Mountain and promote playing and grinding in other areas. Now, Gypsum is time-gated, originally at 23 hours, but a recent update to the PTR reduced it to 18 hours after some intensive feedback. But I still think time-gating any type of endgame content is honestly the laziest way to artificially prolong a grind. But you should be able to craft something for each slot in a given week with the amount that you can obtain. It's better, but it's still not ideal and definitely needs some work. So if any Amazon Game Studio devs see this, please understand that time gating is not a good way to continue people playing your game. Just give them other reasons to play. Don't lock things behind time walls. So Gypsum can be found in a multitude of areas. You'll see on screen here, but I'm also going to list it off here. You have a number of different types of Gypsum. So you have Obsidian Gypsum, and you get that from defeating level 60 plus open world named bosses, typically found in the elite landmarks. Sapphire Gypsum comes from defeating the final boss of the Lazarus Instrumentality and the Garden of Genesis dungeons. Ruby Gypsum can be found in Outpost Rush caches. Emerald Gypsum is found in the Trade Skill Aptitude Reward containers. We'll get into that a little bit later in the video. Citrine Gypsum is found in Arena caches. Amethyst Gypsum is found in the Breach caches. Topaz Gypsum can be found on hostile creatures level 55 plus, but only after consuming a special attunement potion that can be crafted at a tier 5 camp. The cooldown was originally a weekly craft on that, but they drastically reduced it in the recent PTR update to daily. Another recent addition that they did was Diamond Gypsum, obtained only during the winter event after interacting with 3 trees of life. So a nice little extra integration into the fun, festive event to keep people playing. I like that. I love the various types of Gypsum that you can obtain because this really does promote a variety of ways that people can play to obtain the guaranteed gear score increase. When you obtain Gypsum, you can take it to a kiln or a Gypsum forge, whatever you want to call it, located in the settlements up in Shattered Mountain, and craft a weapon, armor, or trinket cast, or a Gypsum orb in order to improve your expertise. On top of the Gypsum and the random drops, you'll actually get more from the expedition bosses now. They'll guarantee an expertise bump Mind you, these will most likely be the endgame dungeons. There are a few new ones that were actually added in this latest update, but they've also reworked things like the chests in Lazarus or Genesis will have a chance to drop higher expertise gear. From these expedition bosses, you'll also get a few guaranteed drops. So you will get the Sapphire Gypsum and something known as Timeless Shards. Now, they're slightly revamping crafting with this update as well. And a Timeless Shard is an introduction to this revamping there. Basically, what a Timeless Shard is very similar to the weapon charms or the other perks or attribute pieces of crafting modifications that you can add to your gear. But Timeless Shards allow you to force specific attributes, much like you could force specific perks. So now you can actually craft things without RNG if you have the right stuff, which should have been a thing from the start. I don't know why they didn't do that, but whatever. Either way, these changes are objectively better than the previous systems in place. I know a lot of people were angry at first, but I think that this is going to really greatly improve the gameplay from here on out. And to anyone that grinded out their high watermark, kudos to you, but my God, did you do it the hard way now. I lucked out that I didn't have enough time to grind out 60 and do the watermarking there, so it's going to benefit me as a fresh endgame character. There is another controversial change regarding the endgame gear that is going to come in early 2022 as the second step in this process of revamping endgame. And that is something known as gear score effectiveness. It's not the technical term, it's just kind of what I'm calling it or what it looked like it was in the update notes. But I was really angry with this decision when I first read it. Then I took some more time like the other one and thought about the system, and I'm actually kind of liking the change for a few small reasons. But basically, when you hit 60, you can't just go buy 600 gear score items off the trading post the moment that you turn in order to not worry about having to do the high watermark system. They're trying to force you into the expertise here. I get that. The forcing is a little bit much, but I kind of like how this is going. You can, again, by all means, you can absolutely go and buy the 600 gear score in the early 2022. You can buy those items off of the trading post. Perfectly fine. You can use them. Great. Cool. But their effectiveness is not going to be 600 gear score effectiveness. Their effectiveness is going to come to the average of your expertise level. So if you're not constantly grinding up into the expertise that you need to get to, you're going to have less effective gear. So your 600 gear score might come down to 520 if that's what your average expertise is. So keep that in mind if you're going to do something like that. Now, the next thing to know about this, and why I think it's personally a good change, is that this will actually increase the value of level 60 gear lower than 600 gear score on the trading post. So for crafters or people that are working in crafting, you're going to be able to get more value out of the stuff that might not roll 600. So I actually kind of like this because it does help the other aspects of the game, and it changes around the economy and it allows for more value to come from other types of things here. The other nice thing is that if you actually still want to buy your 600 gear score items because you find some really nice perks or attributes that fit your build, you can just think of that as gear that powers up over time, and you don't have to worry about filling that slot with a specific type of drop if you found the one. So it's still not necessarily a problem. It's just not going to be as effective until you grind out the max gear score on that watermark. The devs also readjusted the various endgame areas to make some of the overtuned areas a little easier, but they've also added and readjusted some other areas to be harder and more rewarding. Now, some of the endgame POIs, or points of interest, will have level 66 elites, with these areas not entirely being limited to Eden Grove or Shattered Mountain, but additional areas containing these elites can now be found in Ebonscale Reach and Reekwater. I think that's really nice. Gives you more of a variety for actually grinding out the gypsum or the expertise in different areas, and you're not stuck in a weird, snowy area with just nothing but corrupted. So they've done a number of changes when it comes to crafting, like I mentioned earlier with the timeless shards, they've also done something that I think was long overdue and should have been part of the original system to begin with. Besides those timeless shards for forcing attributes, equipment patterns have been added for guaranteed 600 gear score gear with specific appearances. There's also gained crafting XP after you reach 200 in a trade skill now. There are 3 nodes that unlock with specific levels of experience to give crafting rewards like mods, ingredients, schematics, and recipes, with each subsequent node giving better and more rewards. This is amazing because now you actually get something for continuing to craft, and there's a reason why to continue to craft and make these things other than just money on the trading post. It can help you in future crafts when you're trying to just build a specific item. Another massive change that was amazing is you can now also refine specific tier 5 raw materials into the legendary crafting ingredients like Tolvium or the others. Makes it so much easier so you don't have to grind these things out and wait for a ton of cooldowns. This is amazing. In this endgame update, they've actually also added new content, which I think is going to be great. There's a few new dungeons here. There are 2 new dungeons. The dungeons are Zigguramat's Grove in Eden Grove. So now not only is Garden of Genesis there, but there's also another one. There is also the Spire of Melpomene arena in Reekwater. So this is awesome. There's some new endgame content, new dungeons to explore and actually run, and variations on getting more gear. I love this. So there is another minor, somewhat controversial change when it comes to PvP, and that is critical damage has been reduced across the board, and any perks or passives or anything like that that would normally increase it, instead of it being a multiplicative increase, it's only an additive increase. So roughly damage has been reduced across the board from crit by about 3 to 5%. As for what the update notes say. So yeah, sure, your super crit great axe build isn't going to one-shot everybody anymore, which is fine, to be honest. I see this as not too big of a difference there. I mean, you're still going to be able to do some damage. I was still doing damage pretty fine during the PTR testing, so I don't think most people are really going to notice this unless they were completely min-maxed. I think on a deeper level, this change is actually really good because it makes resilient perked armor even stronger. It gives you a reason to go after that type of perk because it reduces the crit damage even further, but it's also not necessary in order to survive in PvP. So maybe you want to do a different type of build. Maybe you want to go more glass cannon and just load up on the damage and empowering and whatnot, so you can have a higher variety in the overall meta. As it stands right now, everybody just uses heavy armor in the endgame because it gives you the most constitution, it has resilience on there, and that's what it was. But now you can actually start changing things around and have more dynamic gameplays. I like this change a lot too, and this is another objectively good change. There are a few other changes in the patch notes concerning bug fixes, UI updates, some minor weapon tuning, basically making any movement skill subject to gravity, so you can't just go zip-zop zorping all around the map anymore without issues of elevation taking effect. And there's a few new weapon and tool perks that will increase various types of efficiency or different skills. I'm not going to really dive into those because it's not really too drastically changing as far as I can see right now, and it needs a lot of testing and work to see what skills and perks will actually be good versus what won't. But I'm going to link the patch notes in the description below, so definitely go ahead and take a look at that. So, after being quite angry at the initial ideas for this update, I'm actually seeing this as a really phenomenal and groundbreaking change and improvement for this game as a whole moving forward. I think this is one of the best patches we've seen so far, and the devs recognizing the current broken endgame system and making some necessary changes to attempt to improve the system gives us hope for the future. Is it going to be an end-all be-all fix? No, there are still things that I think should absolutely change, like any type of time-gated gear or content needs to be removed And that's across the board in any game. I think it is obscenely lazy to do something like that, to prolong progression artificially to keep people coming back. Give them other reasons to come back. Make little events, so on and so forth. But it does feel like that it is moving in the right direction. And again, for everybody who grinded the current high watermark system, I'm sorry you did it the hard way and that you suffered through a rough end game that will be easier for the rest of us coming into the expertise stage. Well, that just about wraps up the video. I'd love to see your opinions on this change. What do you like? What don't you like? How would you improve the game further? If you like this type of content, please like and subscribe so you don't miss out when I post videos. I know I'm not that frequent with my video posting. I'm trying to get better at it, but I'm just one man here, and it takes some time to write, film, and edit the videos, and I appreciate each and every view that are given to me from you. Likes definitely help the video get promoted in the almighty algorithm, and it greatly helps me get more promotion, be seen as a small YouTuber to help grow my channel. But if you'd like to see more of me, you can hop over onto my Twitch stream. I'm reworking my schedule. It's been a little while since I've streamed. Things have been hectic here over the past few months. But if you follow and click on that notification bell on Twitch, you'll see when I'm live. Also, follow me here on YouTube and subscribe to my channel here so you don't miss out anything. Thank you all so much for watching, and each and every one of you who watch are amazing and beautiful people, and I wish you the best during this holiday season. So take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one.